Okay, so this dentist submitted a bridge case, an actual implant bridge case from tooth number 5 to tooth number 8, and was having a difficult time with the proposal. So this was his initial proposal, and as you can see, that is going to take a tremendous amount of work to fix. So I'm going to give him a couple pointers on how to go ahead and fix this. There's a couple issues that I see. Number one, the model axis probably needs to be adjusted. If you review the model axis videos, you'll understand that that's very important with the proposals, specifically with bigger proposals that turn the corner. The other thing I can see is the Pontic bottom line needs to be much broader, so we'll go ahead and redesign this case. So let's go start over from the beginning. We're in bridge mode, crown, biogeneric individual. The abutment teeth are 5 and 8. The Pontic teeth are tooth number 6 and tooth number 7. Material, I'm not quite sure what material they were doing, but let's call it Ivoclar Emax. And let's go back to the model. And then let's back up to the model axis. Okay, so the biggest thing, to be honest, that I'm looking for in the model axis is I'm obviously looking to position this in the arch, but I'm also looking at this upper left picture, and you see how this is turned. This actually is a central incisor. It's kind of broken, but it's facing kind of out to the left as you look at the screen. So that's not correct. So let's go ahead and bring this into the arch. Now, since this is the midline actually right here, we want to position that somewhere. Now as I turn this, look how that upper left picture is straightening out. So now I'm seeing the facial surface of that number 9. So we want to get the midline actually in position, so our midline straight across. We'll go ahead and I'm going to bring this up to the top. Remember, I want my incisal edge right to be at that line, and we also want that midline to be perpendicular to that line. So now this is where my model axis is. Notice I can't see that margin there, but I don't care. All I'm concerned about is getting the midline right, getting the incisal edge right. So now let's hit OK and move forward to margination. Okay, so let's start with the easy ones. Let's go ahead and marginate the 2 abutment teeth. We'll start with tooth number 5 and get that marginated. Okay, very nice abutment teeth here. Switch to 8. Okay, so those are marginated. Now let's go to the Pontics. Now this is where you really have to be careful. We have 2 Pontics here, so basically I want to bisect that space and draw my margin lines there. So I want to make sure that I hug tooth number 5 with that margin, and we're going to pretend that that space is bisected, and we're going to draw the margin pretty broad. Same thing on number 7. Now, even though this is a pretty big margin line, I guarantee you it's going to help us tremendously in our proposal. So there you can see I bisected that space, draw 2 margin lines that are relatively equal. When I hit define insertion axis, notice even though this was tilted on that model axis, I've got good draw here, so I don't need to touch this bridge insertion axis. We're going to hit OK and go on towards the parameters. Now the only parameters, we all know about offset, the only parameters I'm going to do to get a good proposal, I want to make sure to override my minimal thicknesses to make sure, let's just set them all at 600, and let's get our margin thickness somewhere in the 80 range. Tooth number 6 doesn't have anything that we need to really worry about for proposals. Maybe we'll take our gingival spacing to -400. We'll go to 7, take the gingival spacing to -400. And go to 8, let's change our minimal thicknesses to 600. And let's get down our margin thickness. Okay, so we set all those. Let's go ahead and get our proposal. And here's my initial proposal. So I would say this is actually a pretty fantastic proposal considering the scenario. Everything's lined up correctly. And this will be very easy to fix, to be honest with you. So we got a little work to do on the central. That was probably proposed badly just because of this other bad central, but really lined up good, and it looks great. So just by finding those two simple things, making sure your model axis is correct, and really pay particular attention to the pontics. I could have even drawn them a little bit further out here to get a better result. But it is always possible to get a better proposal in lab. In the model axis actually makes that super easy. So hopefully that helps.